Okay, is this working? Yeah, I think I'm on. Wee doggy, Uncle Jed. All right. Hang on. I think I actually have two streams going at the same time. The other one just froze and I couldn't get it started. So I started this one. So hang on. Let me tell everyone over there to come join the chat over here. Hang on. Uh, Back out of this one. Go to other live chat. Bada boom. And go. Okay. All right. Hopefully this is working well. All right. I see people here, so I know this is working. Doctum 1515. Hey, what's up? Thank you. All right, hang on. Let me back out of this other chat. Hey, Goldie's Rock and Roll Collection. Yeah, I've seen some of your posts over the years. Yeah. I've never done a live chat like this before, so I said, let's give it a try. I was trying to do it here on my computer, but for some reason it just froze up and I couldn't get going, and that just thing just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. So I couldn't get it started. So I said, let me just do it on my phone, which is where I am now. So hang on, hang on. Let me back out of this. Hold on. Let's refresh. And, aha, I think this is working. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. Okay, woohoo, it's working. All right, let me get rid of this before I get feedback. Okay, yay, we're here. Whew, man, that was crazy. Anyway, hi. I'm going to go through all your questions here in just a second. For those who don't know, my name is Ellis. I've been running this channel since 2008. Originally, I just posted a couple videos for friends. I worked with a couple people who are much younger than I am, and I would always talk about people like Dan Ingram and Ron Lundy and Frankie Crocker and just so many of the legends of radio, and they didn't know who these people were, had never really heard of them. So I initially posted a couple of Dan Ingram air checks, the real Don Steele from KHJ, and I literally posted a couple just so they could hear them. And then I walked away from this channel for a couple years. And then I come back, and there's like 3,000 people following saying, post more, post more. So I posted more, and we've been going ever since. So anyway, what was I going to tell you? First of all, for any of you that wanted to know, the beard is here simply because my daughter said, grow your beard, grow your beard. So for the month of November, I'm just letting it grow out. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I think it makes me look about 10 years older, but it's here for now, at least till the end of the month. I'll decide after Thanksgiving if I want to keep it or not. I took a break from the channel for a couple of weeks. I was just kind of burned out, but I'm back home now. As I start posting again, I have to post a couple of older things that I've already posted because they didn't fit in with YouTube's guidelines. So I'm going to have to repost those. So over the next week or so, you'll notice you'll see a few reruns. A couple of older air checks that I've already posted that I had to re-edit and repost just to make sure I'm good standing with YouTube. And then give me like 7 to 10 days, and then I'll start posting brand new stuff again for you. All right, let's see. Hang on a second. Let's see some of the comments up here. Oh, Ymir Burns, hello. Squidopus, hi. Goldie's already said hi to you guys. B. Rice, glad to have you back. Well, I'm glad to be back. Really, I am. Not feeling the beard, doctor. I don't know. I'm going to let it grow a little bit. I'm not going to go for the full ZZ Top thing, but let me see. But I do think it makes me look older because I didn't even realize how much gray was there until I let it started coming in. And some people have said, well, you can just color it, but I'm far too lazy for that. Whatever grows is what grows. Maybe I'll keep it, maybe not. I don't know. Who else is here? We got our friend Craig. Craig said, do you think South Florida or any market would ever have a talk resurgence? Oh, like the WIOD lineup of the late 80s and early 90s. Would Neil Rogers even work today? Wow. I think a guy like Neil Rogers would work today. I think the issue is, do you have management that's bold enough and brave enough and supportive enough to support a Neil Rogers in an era where everybody complains about everything? Might be a little tough. Maybe somebody's got the guts to do it, but right now, looking at a lot of these big companies, I really don't think so, which is kind of sad. But we have the internet, so a guy like Neil Rogers could still be heard and seen. Interesting question. A talk resurgence in Miami? Oh yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I think the big problem is AM numbers are just getting harder every day to get. And talk is an expensive format. And a lot of owners don't want to put it on FM when it's easier to make money just by playing music. But hopefully, because there have been some great talk stations in the past, and there's still some out there, you may want to check out KFI Los Angeles, John and Ken in the afternoon. They're pretty entertaining. Is Gary and Shannon? They're pretty good there too. Another entertaining talk radio station you may want to try, though not as edgy, but very conversational, WGN Chicago. I think they do a great job if you want to check it out. William says, hi, Ellis. What era was your favorite in the radio business, and where do you see radio going in the future? Interesting question. If I had to pick an era that was probably my favorite, I'd probably have to pick late 60s, early 70s. There was just so much personality. Stations were fighting to be on top. Personalities could be more outrageous, and it was just a real rockin' and rollin' time then. That whole era from about 1966 to 75, I just love that era of radio. So much fun. The Spider, hey, what up, man? Nicole C. Ellis, the cruise, man. Yeah, I did 2 cruises over the last 3 weeks. I told you I needed a break, so I took one. What else is here? Hey, Ellis, you're doing... Oop, I scrolled too far. Hang on. Ellis, I hope you're doing good. Oh, Retro Circ. Hey, man, how you doing? Hope everything's going well with your channel. Yeah, I'm doing great. Feeling good. I just needed a break, so I went off the radio for a while and stopped the channel for a while, and I think I'm starting to feel like getting back into it right now. For those of you who don't know, I am actually on the radio here in Orlando, Florida, where I live. I do the morning show at Positive Hits Z88.3. And I've been doing the morning show there for about 15 years. Before that, I spent about 8 years at WWKA, K92 in Orlando, playing country. Before that, I was at WBBF Rochester, WBEE Salt Lake City, KRPM, and for about 45 seconds, KJR in Seattle. Also, I spent time at WCFB in Orlando, which today is Star 94.5. Back when I was there, it was Young Country, B94.5 in Orlando. That was about 30 years ago. Before that, Z104 in Norfolk. A little bit of time at the Power Pig in Tampa. K92 in Roanoke, Virginia. I worked there. Spent time doing news radio in Wilmington, Delaware at WILM. Worked at WDEL and WSTW in Wilmington, Delaware. Yes, I did mention Hampton Roads. Yeah, Z104. Also for a very short time at WOWI, Wowie 103, or 103 Jams, I think it's called now. And then before that, I'm getting in the smaller markets now. I was in Atlantic City. I started with my first gig on the air in 1979, so 43 years ago. Where did the time go? When did I become the oldest person at the radio station? Not sure when that happened. And Charles, hey man, what's up? Charles says, do you have any Monroe, Louisiana radio jingles? I don't think I do. I will look into it, but I don't think I have any. Sadly, Power 93, the Power Pig was the best. Love that station. What was I just saying before I got distracted? Squirrel. Anyway, I don't have a lot from Louisiana. I did. There are certain markets you may notice I have a lot of, and then there's some markets I don't have very much of. For example, out on the West Coast, I don't have much from San Diego. I don't have much Phoenix. I have nothing at all from Tucson. So if you'd like to help and you've got some audio, 1999 or earlier, I'd love to share your audio and post it right here as a great way to preserve it. Also, in the Midwest, I am missing a lot of Cleveland. Columbus, Cincinnati. I don't know why I don't have much Ohio. Probably because I had never visited Ohio until about 2000, so I just didn't have much. Indianapolis, Milwaukee, I'm missing a lot of that stuff too. So anything pre-1999, if you have it and you'd like to share it, just let me know. You can shoot me an email. My email address is, if you can write this down, ellis@feasterfamily.com. That's Ellis, Ellis, at Feaster, Feaster, family, all one word, .com. Yes, Wilmington into his house. Yes. Also, something else I'd like, if you have it, I've been fascinated with radio in the Caribbean. So if you have any, especially English radio from the Caribbean, and would like to share it, I'd love to hear it. Anything, I'd even say pre-2010. I'd love to hear it, whether that's Jamaica, Guyana, the British Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, the Bahamas, Belize, what else? St. Kitts, Nevis, Grenada, any of it. I would love to be able to post some of that stuff. What else do we have here? What's that? Ballag Patrick. What old radio recorder did you record on? Okay. That fell. So sorry. Let me lift this up a little. I feel like I'm moving really far. Yeah, it's my hand. I feel like I'm moving really far to read on the screen and then look back down on my phone. There we are. Is that better? Okay. Head's not too cut off, I hope. What was the question? I forgot that. What old radio recorder did you use? I had several. I had I don't know if anybody remembers the Panasonic Platinum series. I had that in the late 70s into the early 80s. Then I had, I think it was a Panasonic Biphonic radio. I eventually moved to a little Walkman style portable radio so I could travel with it, and it recorded, which was really cool. It was hard to find a Walkman style radio that recorded, but I found one. And literally, I was such a geek that every time I traveled, I took my portable radio with me and I would record. I would make trips to New York just to record. Let me record some KISS. Let me record some WABC. Let me record some WAPP. Let's record PLJ. Let's record WBLS. And then I would take it back and listen to it later. And a lot of times I made these tapes simply to help my air work get better. And I just hung on to the tapes, which is why I have this big collection today. I never planned to have this big collection, but I just kept saving the tapes because I didn't have the heart to throw them away. Though, sadly, I did record over some of them, and I could kick myself for that today. Eric B. did the same thing. I know so many people. Is that my friend Eric? Hey, Eric, what up? I know so many people did the same things. I know I'm not the only radio geek out there that would do this kind of stuff back in the day. Back when radio used to be really entertaining before it turned into the land of voice tracking. What else do we have here? Carmen, what up? Hey, Ellis, how do I send you some air checks? You're from the Philly area, right? Yep, from Philly in South Philadelphia, born and raised. Then moved to Germantown and just lived around the Central Florida area for many, many years, and Virginia and other places until I decided I'm going to stay in one place. I moved to Florida. What's it been? About 23 years ago, and I've been here ever since. If you want to send some air checks, I'd love to have them. If they're already digital, you can go ahead and use WeTransfer.com to send it to me. And what you can do is just use my email address, which again is Ellis at Feaster, Feaster family, Feaster family, one word.com. Ellis at feasterfamily.com. And if it's on tape and you can't record it and digitize it, if you're willing to send it to me and trust me, I will go ahead and make a copy and then get you the tapes back in the mail. What was I getting ready to say? Man, I hate when I lose my train of thought. This is why my breaks are all 90 seconds or less on the radio. But yeah, anything you'd like to share. In fact, anybody, if you have anything that's before 1999, I would be honored to share it here. In fact, if you look behind me, I actually have boxes of tapes that have been sent that I'm going to try to get to over the next couple weeks so I can get them up on the channel. And if you sent one of the boxes, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to get to it. Here's the hard part. I'm a one-man operation, so it's tough for me to stay on top of everything, but I do my best and I get to it eventually. But I admit I'm not the fastest, but I tried. All right, who else do I have here? This is fun. I may just do this more often. Oh, and thank all 39 of you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, man. Who else do we have? Oh, somebody asked, where did you go to college after high school? From what 2 months, what 2 years, what month and year? I went to Simon Gratz High School in Philadelphia. And then I went to Hofstra University back in the late 70s, where I was, yeah, broadcasting major. I was supposed to go into law. My dad had expected me to become a lawyer. That's what he said all while I was growing up. Oh, my son Ellis has the gift of gab. He's going into law. And so when I left for college, that was the plan, to go into law. And then I dropped into the college radio station, and I never went back to law. I guess I still could. I mean, in my 60s, can you go to law school now at this point? I guess you could. If you want the oldest lawyer on the planet, sure, I can take care of you. Who else is here? Oh, USMC in the house. Glad you're there. I'm glad you've just been enjoying all the air checks I've been posting over the years. I'm glad it takes you back to your high school and days and your days serving in the military. And may I say thank you so much for your service. Also, Coastal Waves and Wires, greeting from Poland. Poland in the his house. That is so cool. Glad you're here. Let's see. Psycho Moonrider. Oh yeah, I've seen you posting for years. This is actually kind of cool, seeing a bunch of names that I've seen for years and years, and I've never actually, well, maybe I have chatted with you, but it's kind of cool doing this live. Let's see, who else is here? Oh, what's your favorite band or musical artist? That is so hard to answer because I have such wide musical tastes that run everywhere from Frank Sinatra to Metallica, to Earth, Wind, and Fire, to George Clinton and the P-Funk. I am all over the place. But if I had to pick one band or artist, it would probably be Earth, Wind, and Fire. I've loved everything they've ever done ever since I was a kid. And to this day, if I had to be on a desert island, I'd be taking Earth, Wind, and Fire's Greatest Hits Volume 1. Yes, Volume 1. I like 2, but 1 was the jam. Let's see, what else do we have here? Phantom 6400. You got any more 104.1 KRBE air checks from Houston? I think I have a couple. I will check. One of my friends who I loved competing with in Norfolk, Paul Cubby Bryant, used to be there. In fact, I once went to visit Paul when he was on the air at KRBE, and he allowed me to sleep on his living room floor, which is cool. True story. Let's see, who else do we got? Neil Rogers was great. Yeah, I know, Doctor. He was. Love Neil Rogers. Gary Riggs says, hey, Gary. Paulie, greeting from Wyckoff, New Jersey. Jersey in the his house. Spent many years on the radio in Jersey. Hamilton, Atlantic City, for a couple minutes in Vineland. That was a good time. What else do we have here? Oh, looky here. Better Call Ellis. I love it. Volto Vinyl says, I've got about 25 reels of KSLQ, KADI, and KSDFM out of St. Louis. Oh, legendary. From 1973 to 1981. Very slowly digitizing it all. I'll get it there eventually. Man, I hope you do. I would love to get my hands on that. Digitizing is such... Drew! Hey, man, Drew, how you doing? Sorry, I got lost track again. Squirrel. Anyway, no, digitizing is a long, drawn-out process. In fact, if you look over here, here's my whole setup over here. I've got my reel-to-reel player, a TAC A2300SX. This goes back to the mid-1970s, and it still works. I had to have it refurbished about 5 or 6 years ago. Oh, didn't mean to have my nostril in this shot. Sorry. I've got that up there, and then if you look below it, I have 2 tape decks. And on those, I take the cassettes, as well as the reel-to-reel. I've got wires running across my messy desk to my secondary computer over here. And on here, I've got editing tools, and I'll edit things and then go ahead and upload it. So that's the backup secondary computer, and there's my main computer, which I am currently reading the comments on right now. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, freaky man. Anyway, enough of the tour of my studio. What else do we have here? Where was I? Sorry, I keep scrolling down further than where I was. I better start reading faster. Your comments are starting to pile up here. Let's see. Charleston, West Virginia. Neil Rogers was great. Got any more stuff from Power 93? The Power Pig. Yeah, I got some. I've posted a lot of it already, but I do have more, and I'll go ahead and see if I can get some. Hey, Pastor Marty, what's up? What else do we have? Hey, Ellis, this is from Dwall44. I have a handful of cassettes I've been waiting to send you for a while. Kiss 100. Kiss 100. The place to relax. Yeah, I remember when Kiss came on and they sued. No, they didn't sue. They got a cease and desist against Kiss 99, which today is Power 99 because they were Kiss 99, but they used the Kiss name just before Kiss 100 signed off, and the lawyers made them stop, so they had to get a new name. They were nameless for about 6 months and then became Power 99 back in 1983. I am a geek. All right, what else do we got here? Anyway, Kiss 100, WPGR, and a bunch of other stuff like that. Just didn't know how to get in contact with you. Yeah, real easy. Just shoot me an email, or if you're on Facebook, you can send me a message there too. But my email address, ellis@feasterfamily.com, and Feaster is Feaster, ellis@feasterfamily.com. Whatever you have, I'd love to post it. I mean, Philly stuff's always been close to my heart. Philly and New York as well. That's where I grew up. I was in Philly, and in the afternoon, I would often leave WFIL and go listen to Dan Ingram on WABC, because I'm a geek. Anyway, anything you'd like to send to all, I'd love to post it. So you can do that, or again, just shoot me a message on Facebook if you don't have the email address. Okay, Dean says, who are you? And why the puck are you on my phone? Because you're on my channel. Bob, hey, Bob Woodruff. Bob, how you doing, man? I think sports works better on the FM dial. I think you're going to notice, Bob, over the next couple of years, and it's happening already, you're going to see sports make a fast migration to FM, mainly because you can't get anybody under 50 years old to listen to AM. So if you want those younger sports fans, you're going to have to go to FM, and that's what's happening. You're seeing different stations sacrifice one of their stations to put a sports station on FM, or get their hands on a translator so that they can get on FM. But that's the way of the world, and you're probably going to see many news and talk stations doing that in the coming years if it already hasn't happened in your market. Oh, Doctor's back. Why the old classic radios? Why the old classic radio like you posts, like Dan Ingram, Ron Lenninger, and WABC, the great KHJ DJs survive today? I'm trying to process that. Why the old classic radio like you post, like Dan Ingram and Ron Lundy from WABC, the great KHJ DJ survived. Okay, I just keep posting. I love all classic radio. I posted all KHJ. WABC, but I grew up in the New York Philly area, so I recorded a lot more of that. But KHJ was such a great, iconic radio station. In fact, I've had people ask me, which was better, WABC or KHJ? And I've had some people say KHJ was just a better radio station. Well, it's hard to compare the two, I think, because WABC was built for New York. KHJ was just built for Southern California and the car culture. Both stations were great. I think KHJ was just a tighter radio station and was the soundtrack of Southern California. But WABC just had those great personalities. They felt like your friends. So even though it wasn't as tight, both were great. I love them both. Majestic Magic. Hey, man, how you doing? Thanks. Loving the stuff you're posting, by the way. Have present. Hello, Mr. Ellis. Well, hello, Mr. Magic. Glad you're here. Tommy V, greetings from your old Hartford market. Well, thank you. Your take on HD channels. Will they ever take off? The answer, no. The reason why, the FCC should have done what they did for television. They mandated that TV stations do HD broadcasting. TV stations had no say in the matter. And then they pulled the plug on the analog, so you had to watch it digitally. So we all watch digital TV now. Radio, they kept the analog and then they put in the digital and then just left it there. There's no real incentive for you to go out and get it. And I really think a lot of the broadcasters haven't really been innovative with HD the way they could be. I look at the market here in Orlando, and most of the HD is used to go ahead and broadcast on a translator so they can be in the regular analog FM band. So sadly, I don't think HD radio is going anywhere. I wish it would. I love HD radio, but it's been around, what's it been around now? 15, 17, 18 years, and hardly anybody knows it's there. Thanks, Melanie, for pointing that out. Absolutely right. So at this point, I think a lot of people, and it's sad to say, and I hate this because I love radio, I'm running into more and more people who simply say, I don't listen to radio anymore. I stream. I do Pandora. I do Apple Music. I do this. I do that. And sadly, I think the whole industry missed the boat on really making that HD thing work. It's sad because I thought it was so good when it first started. Who's next? We got Coastal Waves and Wires back. Late 60s, early 70s was the best radio. I agree. Tom, Truckin' Tom Cookin' Kent does the best job to try to capture that magic. I agree. He's great. He's very entertaining to listen to. Tim, these format changes are interesting for sure. And these stations on FM and all these low power FMs, what do you think of all of that? At this point in the game, I just think that's just the way everything's going to go. They're going to keep going until every single frequency is used with all these small power things. It does give a chance for other voices to be on the air and other low power stations, but sadly, a lot of them are just rebroadcasting things, which, I don't think that was the original intent of these. It just is what it is. My theory throughout my whole 43-year radio career is whatever happens, I just roll with it. I have no control. I just do my thing and figure out a way to survive as radio keeps changing and I try to change with it. Who else we got? Gary, I think terrestrial radio is going to be a thing of the past. Yeah, at some point it probably will. People have been saying ever since WABC went away, oh, that's it. But 40 years later, it's still here. I think its day is coming, but it's not today. Not yet. Who else is here? Oh, Gary. Oh, he's in Altamont Springs. I'm in Castleberry. I'm your neighbor. Hey, dude. Roger Henderson, who are your top 5 favorite radio personalities ever? Oh, that is a good question. If I had to say top 5, and this is not in any particular order, I'd probably have to say Dan Ingram. Ingram was so clever, so quick. I loved listening to him every day. I lived in Philly. He's in New York. I would listen to him through all the static every day just to hear him. So I'd go with Dan Ingram. I would also go with Frankie Crocker from WBLS in New York, worked at 98.7 KISS. He was just smooth, he was creative, and he figured out a way to be bigger than life when he was on the radio. It was just a real cool guy to listen to. I would also put Terry Young, the Motor Mouth. When he was on WCAU FM in Philadelphia, I could not stop listening. I listened every night, would record his show. He would just cram so much stuff into a break, put so much stuff into a show, so much effort, so many jokes, so much material, so local. If you've never heard Terry Young, just give him a listen. Fascinating. In fact, I think a website just started. I'm not sure if he's behind it or not. I think it's TYT Fun or TYT.fun. Just search Terry Young and you can actually hear him doing some internet radio today. Did I go 5? No, I didn't go 5. Terry, Frankie. Let me include somebody who's you may not consider a disc jockey, but I loved him. His name was Larry Glick on WBZ in Boston. He also spent some time on WMEX and WHDH, I believe. He was a talk show host, but he was so entertaining. I would stay up late at night listening to Larry Glick on WBZ. Just so amazingly good. And if I had to pick one more, and it is so tough because there's so many great people out there, it would probably be a toss-up between Broadway Bill Lee at CBS FM in New York. I've been listening to him since the days of Hot 103. He's just so entertaining. He's so good. I don't know how he does the rhyming thing. For a while there, I used to do the rhyming thing, and I discovered I can't do it. I don't have the talent. He definitely does. It'd probably be a toss-up between him and... as much as I want to say Larry Lujack, like Dave is saying, thank you, Dave, I would probably have to go with the real Don Steele at KHJ. I don't know what it was. I just loved him. He was always so good, very popular in Los Angeles. I'd have to put him up there. And if I can go for a 7th out of that, I would probably also go, just because I couldn't get enough of these guys either. Steve and Gary, when they were at WLS and the Loop in Chicago, they were fascinating to listen to, very entertaining. You felt like you had to listen to these guys because you never knew what was going to happen next. I was so hoping they were going to do a reunion when Steve Dahl was on the Loop on their last day back in, what was that, 2019? He was trying to get Gary to come on the air with him, but Gary didn't. But man, I love those guys. Anyway, thanks for that question. I love that. I'm trying to play catch up here. I should probably be a little faster so I can get to everything here. Bob says, hey there, it's radio friend Dr. Bob. Hey, thank you for the audio, Dr. Bob, by you. And everybody who has sent me audio, I know several of you have, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Because of you, this channel has kept going. Because really, I ran out of material about 3 years ago. So the only reason this channel is still going and I can still post new stuff is because of all the stuff you guys are sending me. So thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Anyway, Dr. Bob says, I hope you and your family are doing well this holiday season. Take care of yourself, and I hope to meet you in person someday. Yeah, I think we can do that. If you come to Orlando, let me know. We'll hook up and do lunch for a second or something. Gary, Power 93 was the best. A lot of people say that. Tor 94 FM. Do you think modern AC will ever come back as a format? I don't know. It's one of those formats where it seems like if it works in your market, it works. If it doesn't work in your market, it doesn't. So I don't know. It was a fun format. I enjoyed the music, but that one I really can't say. I don't have an opinion on one way or the other. Sorry. Goldie's back. Wow, that's a bunch of code names. Sean, American Rebel, thank you, Ellis, for your channel. Did you ever have the opportunity to meet Rush Limbaugh, or do you have any stories about him or producer Bo Snerdley? You know, I really don't. I never had a chance to meet Rush. I always thought he was incredibly talented, and he was one of the few talk radio guys who understood this medium is entertainment. There's so many talk radio show hosts that are on a crusade. And he realized you're not on a crusade, you're here to entertain. And if you're not entertaining, people aren't going to stick around very long, which is why he had the largest audience of any talk show and held it for decades. He was just incredible. I wish I met him. Bo Snerdley, I always heard him talk about. I know he does his afternoon show on WABC in New York. I should reach out and contact. Maybe I can meet him the next time I'm in New York, because I know he'd have some great Rush stories to share, and I'd love to hear them. Hey, B. Rice, what's up? Do you have any more air checks of Columbus, Ohio? I enjoyed from the first and second decades of the 2000, enjoyed your Power 107.5 recording from 2005. The 93.3 frequency had a lot of changes. That they did. Sadly, I don't have a lot of Ohio radio. I've only been to Ohio once in my life, so I only had one opportunity to record stuff, so that's already posted up on the channel. And I do have people that send me stuff from time to time, so hopefully somebody will send me some Ohio stuff, and I'd love to post it because it's a great radio state. Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dayton. In fact, Ohio is has my favorite legal ID for, I think it was WGTZ. They were licensed to Dayton, but they didn't, they were licensed to a town called Eaton, but they didn't really want to push that. They wanted to say Dayton, Dayton, Dayton. So years ago, they came up with an ID that said WGTZ, Eaton, Dayton alive. So they got the legal in, but it didn't sound like they were licensed to Eaton. That was great. I love that. But yeah, any Ohio you'd like to send me, if you have it. I wish I had more Marietta, Ohio, but I have nothing. Feel free to send it, and I will post it guaranteed. Let's see. Adam, good to see Ellis. Good to see you, Adam. Well, I can't really see you, but I can read what you said, so thank you for that. Docked him back again. Love the jingles. Yeah, I try to post what jingles I can. WILM, yes, Delaware, born and raised. Yeah, I spent much time there working at WSTW 93.7 FM just off Naaman's Road. In fact, at the time, oh boy, I was doing, let me think, mornings in Atlantic City, and then I would rush into evenings in Wilmington, Delaware. I worked in 2 different states at the same time back in the mid-'80s. I was insane. I was also really poor, so it took 2 radio stations to make one quasi-decent salary. Oh, let's see, what else we got? Terrell Eugene, hello, Mr. Philly. Mr. LSB, happy holidays. How do you feel about New York City radio being left without both a country station and an alternative rock station? New York has been weird with country. There are times when it kind of supports it, but over the years, we've seen country stations come and go, where they can't really seem to get a solid grasp on the market. Whether we go all the way back to WKHK, Kick, or Y97. No, they weren't Y97. Yeah, it was. WYNY was country for a while. Nash. It's just a rough nut to crack in New York. It's sad they don't do it, but let's face it, New York City isn't really a big country town. So I don't know if they'll ever be able to make it work unless they're on a station that can't seem to do anything else. So we'll see what happens with that. Alternative rock, it would seem like that would do pretty well there. Maybe somebody will come back, hopefully. Ymir Burns. So Ellis, what happens to the stations when they stop running commercials and PSAs? Why they store them? Most stations don't store them. When they're finished with the commercials, they move on. Some stations will keep a library of the spots in case they ever have to go back, or even maybe store them on computer, as we used to do, big master reels. But after a certain point, they ditch them because they don't need them, and they need hard drive space. Charles Williams Jr. Hey man, how you doing? KYEA 98.3 FM, 102 KMLB, 1440 KNOQ, 540. Look into it when you get the chance from the 80s and 90s. I will try. Don't know if I have any audio, but if you do or anybody does, reach out to me. Let me know. I'll be happy to post it. Also, William says, a proud half of Trinidadian here. Yeah, man. I'm part Jamaican. Yay. Anyway, he says, I'll see if I can do some stuff up around here. Recorded pre-1910. Pre-1910 is good. I get a lot of people who will say, I got air checks I'd like to send you. And then it's 2021. And I just don't post a lot of stuff that's less than 10 or 20 years old, unless it's something really unique, like somebody doing their last show or a format change or just somebody really, really unique like Broadway Bill Lee. But anything you'd like to share, again, I would love to share it. Just shoot me a note. If you're on Facebook, find me there, shoot me there, or send it to ellis@feasterfamily.com. What else do we have here? Gary, would you ever consider moving over to SiriusXM? From what I've heard, well, first of all, SiriusXM has never offered me a job, but I've never pursued it. Would I? From what I've heard, they don't really pay that well. I'd probably do better off to stay in terrestrial radio. Unless you're Howard Stern, it just seems like it doesn't pay that well. So probably not. Plus, I love the idea of connecting on the radio and being personable and being local. And a lot of shows on SiriusXM are voice tracked. One of my favorite channels is The Groove. I love that channel, and I used to love BK Kirkland when he was live and he was doing it. You listen today, the music's still there, BK's still there. I love BK, but it's canned, and you can tell it's canned. And I just don't like doing canned radio. And I just want to be live and spontaneous and in the moment. And if I can do live interaction on the phone, I love doing that. What else do we have here? Christopher, the legend. Thank you, Christopher. Glad to be here for the first time with you live. Oh, thank you so much. Who is that? What was that name? Tendies. Well, I'm glad you're here too. This is actually the first time I've ever done one of these live things. So thank all 62 of you for being here. Glad you're here. Eric B. Hey, brother. Hey, Eric. What's up? What are your thoughts, says Terrell, on K-Love recently celebrating its 40th anniversary as a pioneer of contemporary Christian pop rock radio? I say good for them, because Christian radio was always dragging behind the times. And when they came up with the original concept of K-Love, it was all about making Christian radio contemporary and more relevant in people's lives. And when they started it, the concept was the station K-Love, its first station in California, was going to be basically a Christian KFRC. Being tight, being bright, being relevant, being local, and just connecting with listeners. And they did a good job of that. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I posted an air check of K-Love's very first air check, the very first day when it signed on. It wasn't K-Love then. I'm trying to remember what it was, but if you scroll back over my air checks about 3 weeks ago, I posted it, and you can go check it out if you like. B Rice, I'm a geek too. I either use my digital recorder or my computer to record radio, and I usually upload them to YouTube or the Internet Archive, which is probably a lot better. Yeah, that's awesome. I like the Radio Archive. I had thought about posting over there and some other places, but the thing is, I'm a little nervous to do it because I'm afraid the music rights issues will catch up. Those people, I do not believe, are paying for the rights for the music. And at some point, the music industry will crack down, or something's going to happen, like what just happened last week at Mixcloud, where Mixcloud has now changed the rules, and I think they'll only let you upload about 10 shows, and that's it, unless you pay them, from what I understand. So that's why I haven't gone over there yet. I stay here because I know the rules. Because of the music rights issues, I have to scope everything. But I know YouTube is not going anywhere. And I know the work will live on long after I'm gone. I'm not hoping for that to be in the next 5 days or so, but I know it'll live on here. And I don't know what will happen on some of these other platforms, since YouTube is probably the biggest out of all the audio and visual mediums out there right now on the internet. Nicholas, hey Nicholas, man, how you doing? Good to see you too. Also, Dwall says, random question. Have you ever had a specific brand or type of cassette you would always use? Yeah, I did. and I'm paying for it today, I would use the cheapest realistic Radio Shack cassette I could get my hands on because, well, I was a poor kid. I grew up in the projects of Philadelphia, the Wilson Park Housing Project, the worst project in Philadelphia. So I didn't have much money. So I would have to buy the cheapest tape I could get, which was from Radio Shack. And I'm sorry about that today because I go through some of these tapes and the audio is so bad. I mean, the audio is really bad on some of these tapes. Some of them are so bad, I can't even post them. For example, I used to record Bob and Ray every afternoon on WOR and their skits, Married Backstage, Noble Wife, The Orderlies, all this stuff. Loved it. But because I recorded it on cheap, realistic tapes, they all sound like this. So, sadly, that was my story. After I started recording for a while, especially in the 80s, then I started moving on to Maxell and TDK because, well, I could afford better tapes. Couldn't afford to eat, but I could afford better tapes. My friend Dave Arthur had to get the Night Jocks leftover California Air Check cassettes. Used to love California Air Check. Oh man, I remember how I would spend money on those just to hear all these great jocks from around the country. In fact, hang on. Yeah, there you go. Hey, looky there. California Air Check, Boston. California Air Check, more Boston. I got a bunch in the closet as well. Oh, let's see. Sean says, I used to tape radio station when I was a kid in Lansing, Michigan, and I love the format changes that occurred. Always loved the nostalgic moments back in the day. You know, I wish I had paid more attention to two formats when I was younger. One, nostalgia, and two, beautiful music. Beautiful music was always playing by my dad, so therefore I ran as far as I could from it. But now, because of the nostalgia value of it, I love the format. And there's just not a lot of it out there. I've posted a couple here on the channel if you'd like to hear them. But yeah, and on the nostalgia stations, most of the personalities were just so good and so smooth. I mean, in the big markets, like WPEN in Philadelphia, WNEW New York. Oh man, those guys were so good. Who else do we have here? Gary says, would love to hear from Power 93 if you have any. I've posted some already. I'll see if I can post more. I even posted the actual format change when they went from oldies on WFLZ to CHR. And I even recorded leading up to it. Well, I didn't record it, but I posted it. Of when WFLZ was threatening Q105, WRBQ, to hand over $1 million or they would go top 40 and blow them out of the water, which they eventually did. Oh, let's see what else is here. Donnie says, hello, Ellis and all, and happy 74th birthday to His Majesty King Charles. Hopefully everyone's weekend was happy and glorious. Very cool. Got to say hi to Doctor again. Where'd you get all those KHJ tapes? Sound great. DJs and great radio. Most of the KHJ stuff I have posted, people have given to me over the years. I have that closet over there is full of tapes and reel-to-reels. And I've just been saving them and posting them as I can. Sadly, by the time I finally got to Los Angeles to record KHJ for myself, they were doing Car Radio 93. Anyway, so if you sent me any of those KHJ tapes, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Our friend Tim says, when the nighttime would come, I thought AM radio was magic. So did I. With all those awesome long distance stations that would come in. Oh my goodness, I love that. I just remember being there listening to WMAQ, WBAL, did I say WBZ? I think I did. WSB Atlanta, Music Radio 89, WLS, and John Landecker. Oh, I love that. It was such a magical time to be able to listen to all these stations. WKBW, of course. Oh, good stuff. Coulson's Golden Classics. Hey, guys. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Also, Christopher says, dude, definitely do more lives. You know what? I'll do it. I just didn't think anybody would really care about talking about radio like this, but maybe I was wrong. I mean, hey, there's still 66 of you here, and some of you have been here for over 40 minutes. Wow. I'm going to get radio listeners to do that. Anyway, who else is here? LZ2K7, I'm here. Glad you're here. We've got Dave. LK2, LZ2K7 says, greetings from Deerfield Beach. Deerfield in the his house. Glad you're here. Who else do we have? Our friend Dave again says, thank God you didn't become a lawyer. We love you. Oh, could you imagine me as a personal injury lawyer? I would have been like Jimmy McGill. I can see it now. For those of you who don't know who Jimmy McGill is, check out the TV show Better Call Saul. Hi from Louisiana. Thank you, Demetrios. Nicholas says, love the air checks. Thank you. Valtavino says, I've got 25 reels. Oh, yeah, I think I read that already. Thank you. I'll be, whenever you can get it to me or however you can, I'd love to hear it. Guardian of Chaos. I love that name. Says, I love your channel, bro. Glad you do. Donnie says, I'm in Western Washington. I used to live in Western Washington. I was on the air at KRPM, Kickin' Country, K106, Tacoma, Seattle. Anyway, he says he's lived in the Pacific Northwest, my home, for 24 years now. And gee, I miss the Texas and my native Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Well, I'm glad you're here. I loved Western Washington. It was so cool. My favorite thing about it was a show that used to come on TV there every Saturday night, a local comedy show on KING TV, King TV, called Almost Live. Love that show. Anyway, who else is here? Let's see. Gary Higgins. Hi, what was your favorite WABC DJ? It would have to be Dan Ingram. He was the king. Loved Dan Ingram. But I loved everybody there. Chuck Leonard. I liked Cousin Brucey when he was there. George Michael, but I already knew George because he was King George Michael in Philadelphia, WFIL. It was just a great lineup. I loved it. I was a big fan of Howard Hoffman. They were trying to really contemporize WABC at the end, and they just let Howard Hoffman run wild for a while at night in the evening. And I just thought Howard Hoffman was so good. He was one of those jocks I would keep on the station for FOMO. I was afraid he would do something and I'd miss out. I just love that guy. Anyway, Drew Techner says, WRDR 1580 Hamilton. That station, by the way, was where I had my first full-time radio job. I was there in 1981, 1982, and that was my first full-time job. I did mornings there before moving after about a year to Atlantic City, which was a cool time. Oh, loved it. Oh, Donnie, you loved Almost Live too. That was a great show. Local comedy rocks when it's done right, and Seattle did it right. Yeah, good old Rodeo Radio. Our friend Drew says, hi, what up, Drew? Hey, you may want to check out his channel, by the way. Drew Techner posts radio air checks and all kinds of cool stuff on his channel. I can't remember, Drew, if it's Techner Video you use now or Drew Techner or whatever it is, but search Techner, you'll find it. He's got so much cool stuff. Let's see. Where was I? I accidentally scrolled down and I got lost. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I really don't think I'm going to get to everybody because there's so many comments here. And by the way, thank you for commenting. I never really expected this many comments to be here, but here they are. Let's see, what else? Man, there are a ton of comments here. Wow, thank you guys. I'm probably going to wind up reading a lot of these and try to answer them when I'm off the air, off this thing, because we're already at the, we've been going for almost an hour. That's insane. I can't believe anybody would want to listen to me pontificate for an hour. Where else were we? Let's see. Mike Coder says, hey, Alice, I'm curious if you have ever met a DJ from back in the day, like Wolfman Jack or Dick Clark. Who are the most famous ones I've met? I've met Dick Clark once. I got to sit in on a show he was doing, bloopers and practical jokes, and I got to actually say hi to him for a second at the end of the show. Wolfman Jack I met in 1991 or 92 in Norfolk, Virginia. He was there for, I don't know what it was, an oldies convention or a flea market or something. And this is probably just a few years before he died. And I got to talk to him. We talked radio for a second, but there were a lot of other people who wanted to talk to him. So I literally talked to him for about a minute and a half. But it was really cool to meet him. I wish it was like today where you've got a TV studio in your pocket with your camera and you can take pictures, but I didn't have a camera. So I could just kick myself for not having a photo with Wolfman Jack. But I did meet him. I can say that. Anybody else that I've met over the years? Rick Dees. I met Rick Dees. He was doing a live remote in Los Angeles in 1991, shining people's shoes. And while he was doing his live remote, they lost power at the station. My friend Joe, WHLM, wants me to tell the story of when I met Rick Dees for 15 seconds. All right, so here's the deal. Rick Dees is shining shoes. I walk over to him. I'm like, hey, Rick, how you doing? He's like, hey, man, what's up? And then he asked me, how's your mom doing? I'm like, she's doing fine. I'm thinking, I live in Philly. This is Los Angeles. He doesn't know my mom and didn't know anything. But yeah, she's fine. That's good. Hey, that's great. Glad you're here. Hey, would you do this? I got some donuts and coffee over there. If you just go through that turnstile, you can get some coffee and donuts on me, okay? Like, great. So I go to the turnstile, get some coffee, donuts. Yep, I'm in good shape. I go back over to the turnstile to go back over to talk to Rick some more, and I realize, it's a one-way turnstile. I can't go back. So I've got to stand over here with the masses with my donut and coffee and just watch Rick do his morning show and shine shoes. But that was my 15 seconds with Rick Dees. By the way, Joe, I'm glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying retirement. That's cool. Even though I was hoping one day you'd give me a job at WHLM in Bloomsburg, but it never happened. Anyway, who else is here? Oh, Dave Rhodes says, hi, Ellis. I'm a fan of yours in the UK. Have you a favorite era when it comes to U.S. radio? I was mentioning earlier, late 60s, early 70s. I thought the radio industry, as far as top 40, was firing on all cylinders. Great personalities. The music was great. So much energy, so much excitement. I loved it. It was just an awesome time. Dave also says, I'm a fan of 99X. Yes, so am I. In the New York top 40 era during the late 70s and a lot of the AOR stations from the same timeline. Oh, yeah, you had WPLJ, you had WNEW, and I think for about 45 seconds you had WPIX FM. But, they keep spinning that format wheel at WPIX to see what was next. Oh, disco? Bring it on. We'll go against KTU. That sounds like a winning idea. Anyway, Nick says, love and miss Dan Ingram. Me too. He was the best. Guardians of Chaos, Ellis. I was a big fan of WYBC out of New Haven, the rhythm of the city. Gotta feel the rhythm. Rhythm of the city. Yeah, I'm a geek. Also, we've got to say, Nicholas says, remember when KTU was soft rock? Yeah, just before it became 92 KTU disco, it was Mellow 92, WKTU. I was in college in New York at Hofstra University, and I would listen to this station. And then one day, boom, they were dancing. I'm tuning in and I'm hearing Gonzalez. I haven't stopped dancing yet. Da-da-da-da-da-da, since we met on our first date. It was an interesting time in New York. Let's see. Doctum says, strangely, I love the jingles from WNEW in New York. Wasn't a fan of the station, but loved the jingles. Okay, I was a fan of the station, but I thought their jingles were incredible. Hang on, my phone is dying. Hang on, I got to give it some power here. Hang on, hope this doesn't mess this up. Power. Okay, I got power. All right, yeah, I love the NEW jingles, and I thought it was a stroke of genius on the part of the guys at WNEW to bring back these jingles from the 1940s and 50s and put them on in the 1980s. It matched so well with the music. They were classic. There were classic voices. It was so good. There's only one WNEW. So good. If you've never heard the WNEW jingles, I think I have them here. There was a guy who wanted me to take them down, and he said he owned the right so I may have taken them down. But search WNEW, and hopefully the jingles are still there. If they're not, I've got a few WNEW jingles from the 80s and early 90s, so you can at least hear the jingles in the broadcast. But yeah, I love them too. Mike Cooter says, I love because you're on my channel. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. John Summers, Ellis, I have that same radio you have up on your shelf. What are the odds? Oh, you have that radio up there? That Grundig. Yeah, I collect old antique wooden radios. Yeah, I've got a Grundig up there. I've got a floor model out in the living room, which doesn't work anymore. It used to work when I first got it. Why won't you be still? This thing doesn't want to stand up anymore. Oh, come on. Stop it. Stop it. Why won't you stay put? Just stay. This thing's been sitting here for an hour and suddenly it doesn't want to stay anymore. Okay. All right, you're just not going to cooperate, are you? All right, am I going to have to hold this thing, really? I mean, seriously, it's been here for this whole broadcast, and it's just sat here. Now it doesn't want to anymore. Now it wants to be at a bizarre angle. Fine, be at that angle then. Anyway, where were we? What are we up to now? 61 minutes. This is insane. But if you guys want me to keep going, all 71 of you, I'll go for a little bit longer. Why is the picture messing up? I'm not sure what that's all about. Hopefully it gets better. I know my phone is running out of juice. Where was I? Terrell, didn't Philly's 106.1 FM switch formats to soft adult contemporary to Latin? I know it was doing some AC. I didn't know if it was soft AC. Maybe it was. I'm just not sure. They switched to Latin recently. Yes, they did. And in Philly, with the makeup of the city, it probably makes sense for them. Oh, come on, picture. Get better. Why are you so bad? Or is it my monitor? I'm not sure. I hope it gets better. Let's see. Where else do we have? What else? Jeff Adams. Yo. Hey, Jeff. What up? And Western Washington has an FM sports talk radio. Oh, yeah. 950 KJR Seattle 93. Yeah, I used to listen to them all the time back in the day. I love KJR. They were a good sports station. Melanie, yeah, I recorded an old air check from Jackson, Mississippi station. I forgot what station it was. That was played on MPB. I assume that's Maryland, not Maryland, Mississippi Public Broadcasting. Oh, well, that's awesome. If you'd like to share it here, I'd love to post it. Oh, come on, picture. Why aren't you clearing up? What up with that? I'm not sure. I hate that it looks weird like that. It looks so low def. Oh, did my phone go into low def mode? I think because I went on low power, it went in low def mode, and I don't know how to change back while I am doing this. So let me do a couple more of these and wrap this up since I can't clear up the picture. I don't want to make you look at my mug looking like that. That's awful. Anyway, Adam Stable says, hey, Ellis, do you wish more radio stations from the 1920s was available? I'd love to hear the first NBC. I would love to hear some 20s radio, but the recording wasn't very good back then. So not very much 20s radio survived. By the way, the oldest air check I have on this channel is an air check. I believe it's from 1939 of WLS signing on at 8 o'clock in the evening. It's shared frequency with another station. I'm trying to think of the calls, but I can't think of it. I want to say EAF, but that's not right. That's New York. At 8 o'clock, that station would sign off, and then WLS would sign on. And it's from I believe it's 39. If you search it, you can find it in the channel if you want to hear a real slice of history. Volta Vinyl, I'm using a TIAC X10R, a Tascam 22 for reels, and a Revox B215 for cassettes. All those fed through a Mackie 1604 that output to an M audio. Boy, you're getting technical on me. For those of you who aren't that technical, I don't want to get technical, but that sounds like it would make a pretty nice transfer. That's awesome. Jordan says, whoa, big fan of the channel. Thank you for introducing me to more radio hosts. Always relaxing to listen. Well, that's what I want known as the place to relax. Um, Goldie's Rock and Roll Collection says, "How did you get to know Alan Sniffen?" Oh yeah, he runs Reround Radio and does the DJ Hall of Fame, or hosts the DJ Hall of Fame on Reround Radio Saturday afternoons at high noon Eastern. I have actually never met Alan. We've chatted back and forth a couple times, but I've never met him. But he runs a cool channel, and I like him. And I know people give him grief sometimes, but you know what? It's his channel. He can do whatever he wants. And I say more power to him. I'm thankful for Alan. And when there's days I just want to hear some good old 60s and 70s, I always know Rewound Radio is there. So thank you, Alan, for all your hard work, in case you happen to be one of the 61 people that are here. Let's see, what else is here? I'm not going to drag this on too much longer. Luke the Drifter says, you should call in Raleigh James. I love Raleigh James on WGN. I used to listen to her when she was on WWDB in Philadelphia. She'll some nights talk radio on WGN. She's on from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Central Time. She'll also talk about records. And if you love records and obscure R&B records, Raleigh James on WGN late at night is where you need to be. She's a walking history textbook of her musical knowledge. Check her out. Nick says, anything from ORFM? Yes, I've posted a bunch of ORFM, and I will be posting more. Rob says, hey, Ellis, I'm a new fan, and one of these days I'll find some old cassettes for you, and thanks for posting these air checks. Thank you. Anything you or anybody else would like to share, I would love to post it. Terrell checking back in. Do you think that the music streaming platforms like Spotify and iTunes play a major factor in the decline of radio? Yeah, I think so. I think it's everything. Back in the day, if you wanted to hear music, if you didn't own the records, your other choice was, well, two choices you had. One, the radio. Two, staying up on Saturday morning, staying home and watching Dick Clark. That was about all you had. But there's so many options and so many places you can go now between satellite, streaming, Apple Music, music on your phone. Right now on my phone, I carry 5,000 songs. So I can hear any song I love anytime I want. So sadly, all of this together is impacting the radio. And radio itself as an industry is not helping by taking out the special sauce, which is the personalities. You know, anybody can make a burger, which is the music. And picking the right ones, well, you want the right beef in your burger. But the special sauce and the tomato and the lettuce and the pickles, all that stuff makes the burger special. And most radio stations aren't including that stuff. They're just giving you bare burgers today. Here's your music, here's your music, here's your music. And no personality to keep you company, which is kind of sad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. Anyway, Kathleen from New Jersey. There's a female in the room. Hi, Kathleen. I'm glad you're here. I thought you'd be much older. Well, how old do you think I am? I'm in my 60s. Anyway, she says, I love your stuff. Lucky to have grown up with WABC and WMCA. They were great radio stations. Doctum says, do you have Sirius XM in your car? No, I don't, but I do have it on my phone, and sometime I'll stream it. But with more and more of the channels being voice-tracked and canned, it has less and less appeal to me, and I'll probably wind up canceling my subscription. What else do we have? The Pro Wrestling Guy. Your thoughts on Jerry Williams. Jerry Williams, the dean of talk radio. I loved listening to him when he was on WWDB in Philly, when he was on WBZ in Boston. He was so good at what he was doing, and he loved stirring the pot. I'd say the master at stirring the pot. I've posted some Jerry Williams air checks if you want to post it. Thanks to my friend Alan Tolles. He got me some, and I just post them up occasionally. And there's even a Facebook page called Jerry Williams, the Dean of Talk Radio. You can learn more about him, and his daughters keep that page going if you'd like to go ahead and check that out. Anyway, where are we at here? 63 people, 69 minutes. I can't believe I'm going 69 minutes. All right, I'm trying to wrap this up here. I'm trying to get to everybody, but I know I won't be able to. Melanie says, that's why hardly anyone knows what HD radio is. Yeah, we as an industry just didn't do a great job promoting it, and the FCC didn't help us either. And I think listeners were satisfied with the product they had, so they didn't see a need to go out. Plus, It's kind of hard to find an HD radio. If you've gone to like Best Buy and try to find one, it is not easy. Oh, Mad Barbecuer, you got any air checks from K92 Roanoke from, oh, I missed it. It faded off the screen before I said it. Could read it. I do have some K92 Roanoke air checks. In fact, I used to work at K92 in Roanoke. I was there in 88 and 89. I've posted some of those air checks if you want to check it out. It was a great station. It was like a major market station dropped in the middle of a small market. Great station. What else do we have here? Cool Sons Golden Classics. Now, wait a minute. I'm well under 50. And I listen to AM radio all the time. I guess their little counter isn't as good as they say it is. Now, wait a minute. What was it Tom Likas used to say? The exception to the rule does not disprove the rule. The truth is, most people under 50 won't listen to AM. Some people under 50 don't even know it exists. Now, you're there, and that is cool. When I was under 50, I listened too. But the sad reality is most people don't. And to survive, they need more ears listening, and they just don't have them. So therefore, they're now trying to super serve the over 55 crowd because they're the only ones that in large numbers will listen to AM. But if you're there, that is great, and you should keep it up. I was going to say I listen to AM too, but I'm over 60, so I'm in that group. Sorry. Who else is here? Let me try to get to a few more of these. Tim mentions WNOE, a powerhouse CHR station. It was NOE Rock back in the day. Chris Epgrave, I've seen so many of your posts on here, says, the biggest change in radio personalities now is the clamp down on opinions. Anything controversial, and boom, you're gone. You know what? The thing is, with so much voice tracking today, you don't even have time to get into any opinions. It's basically, that was, this is. Because if you're here in a studio and you're trying to knock out 5, 7, 10 radio shows in one sitting, voice tracking them, you don't have much time to devote to the content, which is really sad. There are some people that do, and if you do it, thank you for doing what you do. But for a lot of voice trackers who are doing wholesale voice tracking, it's all about getting there, recording that show, boom, moving on. Getting in, recording the show, getting to the next one. So there's not even time for opinion. Just hurry up and finish this because my poor, swollen vocal cords need a rest. Pastor Marty, sports radio won't last. Streaming sports you can watch. Well, I don't know. Some sports stations, Pastor Marty, still do well. I look at Philadelphia and WPEN. That station is kicking butt. So I can't say it's going on. It's going to do better in some markets than others, especially if you're a sports town. If you're sitting there with 4 major sports teams, you got a lot to talk about. But if you're in a place like, I'm trying to pick somebody without insulting anybody, you're in the middle of Batavia, New York. Well, no, they got the Buffalo Bills. You're in Boise, Idaho. You don't have a lot. So there's not a lot of local stuff to talk about. So it's harder for those stations to survive. Jeff Adams, I love talk radio. It's fascinating when it's done well. Who else is here? Peter says, I stream radio daily, mostly U.S. jazz nonprofit stations. Wonderful. TuneIn Radio has an app that's free. TuneIn Radio is great. Let me give you a lowdown on another app that I have. With so many streamers blocking stuff and so much international stuff blocked, I use an app called OO Tunes. The letter O, and TUNES. This app seems to get everything, and it allows me to record it, which is something they took away on TuneIn Radio. So it's a great app. I highly recommend it. I wish I were getting a kickback. Pete Franklin. Oh, yeah, Sue. Pete Franklin. I remember we had him in New York for about 5 minutes at WFAN when they launched. But yeah, Pete Franklin was great. Great guy. Jordan says, do you still voice work? I'm too new to your channel. Yeah, I still do voice work. I still host a morning show here in Orlando. I have been doing mornings here in Orlando for about 23 years. I've been on the air for 43 years. So yeah, I'm still doing it. Somehow when really good people can't find jobs, somehow I keep going. I'm not sure why or how. Maybe because I'm cheap. Also gotta say hi to Edgar. When music comes back to AM radio, sadly, I don't think music on AM radio stands a chance. If it comes back, those people are gone, except for oldies. I think you can still do oldies on AM and have it work, but some stations have tried, like WGH in Norfolk, and at some places it just didn't work. So sadly, AM's days appear to be numbered, even though I know people are going to be upset with me for saying that because they love AM. I get that, so do I, but I'm a realist. OO Tunes is absolutely the great, says Dennis. But as of this summer, they are enforcing a level of geo-blocking. Oh, are they? Doggone it. Well, I know I've gotten a couple of stations that were geo-fenced, so maybe some are still sneaking through. But it does allow you to record on OO Tunes, and I love that feature. Who else is here? I wish I could read everything. Jeff Adams says, I miss BJ 105, the station of my youth. Oh, Jeff, I used to come to Orlando every year, and I would record BJ 105, and I would listen to the Breakfast Flakes on BJ 105 with, Bill Cross and Alan Spector. Yeah. Oh, man, that was a good show. The Breakfast Flakes. Oh, so good. Or the Breakfast Bunch. My memory is failing in my old age. All right, I'm trying to wrap this up for the 71. I can't believe 71 of you are still here. That's insane. Who else? Who haven't I said yet to? Canuga Snow. Ever heard of Bat Jackson? I've heard of Bat Jackson, but I've never heard it. I would love to. If I can get an air check, or if you have one, get it to me. I would love to post it. Coastal Waves and Wires, terrestrial radio will survive. I've been working in Europe this year, and a conflict near me has reignited terrestrial radio here. It's the one medium that can get info into an area, starful info. True that. Eric B., Steve, and Gary were awesome. They sure were. Let's see. Oh, Capital Gold, says Nicholas. Yeah. 1548, Capital Gold. I love that station. Today it's simply known as Gold. That's in London, serving all of the UK. What else do we have here? Marietta, Ohio, Andy B. I have no Marietta, Ohio air checks. If you have some, please get it to me. I'd love to. Oh, Teams is an iPhone exclusive? I didn't know that because I have an iPhone, so I thought it was everywhere. I'm sorry. If you have a Samsung phone, sorry, you have an Android phone, I guess you can't get it. Sorry. Maybe that's why I'm still getting away with all the things I can hear on it that are being blocked by other broadcasters. Anyway, what else do we have here? Are there any air checks of your own work? Would love to hear some. Thanks for keeping this channel on. I've actually posted probably about 6 or 7 of my own air checks on here. If you go to my channel and search Ellis Feaster, oh, I forgot, my name is on every air check. It might be tough to find. Well, try it anyway. I have posted some stuff on me on the air at KRPM in Seattle, KBEE FM in Salt Lake City, WBBF Rochester, WWKA K92 in Orlando, WFLZ, the Power Pig in Tampa. It's on there if you want to check into it. Oh, yeah, 98 Rock. Thanks for the reminding me of that in Baltimore. Rob says, let's hear it for Canton, too. Oh, yeah, Canton. I've heard great things about Canton. I was from there, late 70s, and WINW and WOOS. Again, if you have any audio of it, get it to me. I would love to post it. Somebody asked me, do I have any WRVR from New York? That was the big jazz station in New York back in the 70s into the early 80s. I've got one piece of WRVR with a classic New York jock named, I can't think of his name now. He was on 92 KTU. G. Keith Alexander. So yeah, that's on there if you want to check that out. Somebody asked me, I'm sorry, it flew by so fast, whatever happened to Billy Burke from WCAU-FM? He went to Los Angeles, was on the air there for many years, and I believe now he is into kickboxing and mixed martial arts. If you search for him online, you can find him, but that's his thing now. He's huge into it. What else? What am I up to? Oh man, 78 minutes. This is insane. Radio stations in either English or Spanish, as Oscars, are doing well in Mexico. And the best part is they go commercial free from 12A to 6A. You know what that is? I'll tell you what that is. That is them capitalizing on the fact that they don't have advertisers overnight. So we're going to take this negative for the station at a time when it could be generating some revenue, even though small, and we're going to turn it into a positive for you. Commercial free overnights. which is great for everyone sleeping. Dave says, seeing it's 80 degrees where you are, can we still be friends anyway? Oh, that's right. You guys just got some snow, didn't you? Did my morning show today. By the way, Dave works in Boise, Idaho at KSTY. KSTY, did I get the calls? KSTY, KTSY. KSTY. He's in Boise, Idaho. And yeah, I saw it's cold up there. Did my morning show outside in 22 degrees. Dave, you are insane. By the way, tell your partner Ella said hi. She came to visit us a couple minutes ago, but yeah, you know that. Anyway, who else do we have here? I'm just trying to get through everybody. Gary says, hi, how you, I'm in Virginia near Roanoke. I know you were on a K92. They were the best and they're still going strong. They are. That was just a great radio station when I was there in the late 80s and it is still going great now. So, but if you're in Roanoke, it's always been the station to check out. George asks, who are some of your favorite talk show hosts on the old WWDB in Philadelphia? Wow, I didn't expect anybody to ever ask me that. Winmore was probably my absolute favorite. I listened to his morning show with Jack O'Reilly, and then later on with Alan Bell. I think that might have been his name. Anyway, I listened to that morning show with all the bits and things they would do. I love Dominic Quinn. Bob Grant, when he was on WWDB, loved him there, as well as Jerry Williams. Got a kick out of Dominic Quinn. Just that whole lineup. It was early talk radio that started in Philly in 1975 on FM. And it lasted till 2000 when they blew up the format when the station was sold. Oh, it was a great station. Jordan asked me, does Max Kinkle still run that radio show on his website? Oh, yeah, every time I click it, it doesn't work. Yeah, I had heard, and I don't have this confirmed, that Max had been having some health issues, and it looks like he hasn't been staying on top of the channel. I hope he gets back on top of it, because, man, I love Mad Max. He was just a great air talent, and I loved listening to him. Let's see. Michael Boyce. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Another was Go Johnny Go, originally on Capitol. And if you want it, I got it on the Pickwick. Well, thank you so much. None of them saw CD issue. Sadly, so many records that happened to, they just never made it to CD. I'd love to hear so many things from back in the day on pristine CD to hear what it would sound like, though it would never have the same warmth as records. There's a debate to fire up right there. Let's see. Jingle Fan 101 says, hi, Jingle Fan. Michael Boyce says, there's a site called ULOZ, ULOZ, to that doesn't care about licensing, and many albums are public domain. That's true. I'm just really careful about not breaking music rights because I used to, on YouTube, post unscoped air checks. And then one day, YouTube started getting serious about it, and 300 of my air checks were blocked. Do you know how much work it takes to list 300 air checks? And you know what it's like to have them blocked? That happened. I said, I'm just going to go scope. That way I know I'm safe. So no matter which way the winds of copyright blow, I'm fine. And it's really rough when the full air check has like 25 songs on it and the whole thing gets blocked because of 2 songs. Ugh. Anyway, Jim Scott asked, which company did you get the Z88.3 jingles and the K92 FM jingle? Oh, I got to think for a second. Did we get this last batch on Z88.3? Z88.3 in Orlando is the station where I host the morning show every morning and have been there for 15 years. I want to say it's Real World, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's been a while. Our last jingle may have been from Real World. I'm not sure. K92, I just can't remember. That was like 15 years ago when I left there, and I just don't remember. I'm sorry. I know for many years they used Jam, but that last package they used when I was there was not Jam. But I can't remember. I'm sorry. My memory isn't what it used to be. Let's see. What else is here before I go? Oh, 58 of you are here. We're dropping like flies. Okay, I better wrap this up. Oh, Rob says you're right about Caleb Ellis and Bob Anthony. Ah, that was it, Bob Anthony. I couldn't think of his name. From Caleb, hosted a fundraising banquet in Santa Rosa, March 1982, and I think it was their first one, and Chuck Girard performed as well. That was a great station back in the day. The Chris says, the endless energy of Ellis. Love the laugh and just how having more tapes in the closet. Yeah, I should take my tapes out of the closet. Never mind. Let's see. Joe from WHLM, looking good, my friend. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. Joe, by the way, was my program director back when he was Bobby Hatfield at WBBF in Rochester, and we did the morning show together there as the WBBF Breakfast Flakes, also calling ourselves the two short fat guys in the morning. It stood out. Who else would call themselves that? Tyrell asks, can you please explain the similarities and difference between urban contemporary radio and rhythmic contemporary radio? Okay, urban contemporary is pretty much R&B radio, straight up R&B radio. Rhythmic contemporary is more of a top 40 station, a CHR station, that's contemporary hit radio, that leans towards playing the rhythmic or R&B songs or danceable songs. So they look at the chart and they cherry pick the songs they want out of it. Normally the R&B station, the urban contemporaries will be blacker, play more black artists, and the rhythmic contemporaries will be more of a mix. So that's probably the best way to explain it. But these definitions are always changing, so check back with me next week. Oh man, there's just so much stuff here. I wish I could get to all of you. Oh, I just realized the picture cleared up. Wow, wonder what happened. Okay. Jordan asks, how do we reach out to you? Man, I do have to wrap this up. My voice is going, and I got a morning show to host in the morning. Oh my goodness, what time is it? It's 4:33. Good gravy. The best way to reach me is you can send me an email. My email address is Ellis, E-L-L-I-S, at Feaster, F-E-A-S-T-E-R, Feaster Family, one word, feasterfamily.com. Ellis at feasterfamily.com. You can also, if you're a Facebook friend, or even if you're not, you can send me a message on Facebook, and I'll get back to you. And if you have anything you'd love to share, I'd love to hear about it. Let's see. Anybody I missed? I missed so many of you. I'm so sorry. Brandon Gaming, hello to everybody in New Jersey. Alyssa says Z100 was great in the 80s and 90s. It was a great station. By the way, if you haven't seen it, there's a documentary out there called Z100, Worst to First. I think you can find it on YouTube. You'll have to pay for it, but it's great. Bob says, may I send you some air checks from the 70s? Yes, you may. Just shoot me an email at ellis@feasterfamily.com or send me a message on Facebook. And if it's already digitized, that's easy. If it's not digitized, I can go ahead and make the digitization for you. But it'll take me a while because I am so backlogged. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, I see my son-in-law sending me messages. I got to get back to him. Hang on. Hey, honey. Oh? Let's try to call my wife. I guess she's not in the house. Bob says, this was good fun. Good listening. Thanks. I can't believe 50 of you stuck around this long. Anything else I want to get to before I go? I think I actually made it to the bottom, but I know I skipped people along the way. Storm Death says, do you know why EMF kept the WPLJ call signs and kept the WKLV calls parked in their south? It doesn't make sense to me. You know what? They have control of the station. They can do what they want with them. I have no idea why, but that's what they're doing. And I kind of think it's cool just to know the WPLJ call letters are still around in New York because they are so legendary, being around since 1971. So that's cool. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for the 17th time I'm telling this. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Goldie's Rock and Roll Collection says, thanks for sharing, Ellis. It's certainly great to see you again. Well, thank you. It's good to be seen. Oh, Grayman Media. Hey, thank you guys for following me. I always see the post from Grayman Media. What's your view on millennials listening to old school music in reaction videos, especially when they discover that the music was sampled? I get such a kick out of that. I in fact, just did that with my daughter There's a current song that samples, oh, what song is it? A Mariah Carey song. And that song had sampled um, Genius of Love, Tina Weymouth and the Tom Tom Club. So I played her both versions and she could not believe that it was sampled and then double sampled. So I get a kick out of those videos. It's fun to watch these guys. And it also is cool to see younger people discover our music. I love that. Anyway, Jordan says, thanks for answering my question. Tim says, enjoyed the live, looking forward to the next one. Yeah, this was fun. I'm going to do it. The next one probably will not be 90 minutes and 3 seconds. Yeah, Mariah Carey, Sweet Fantasy. There you go. Thank you, Donnie. I knew somebody would know it. Yeah, we'll do this again. I might make this a monthly thing. This is kind of cool. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for following the channel. And again, if you have anything you'd like to share, because basically I've run out of material after posting 4,000 air checks. Anything you'd like to share, I'd love to share it here on the channel. So thank you so much. Have a good day. Thanks for following the channel. And hey, thanks for listening to me in the morning on Z88.3 in Orlando. Have a great day.